Secret guardians, starry bright, fiery ones beyond our sight, saints of yore, Buddhas too, guiding lights to me and you.
Chapter 17. Sweetgrass County, Montana. Hollow Tree Cabin, Absaroka Wilderness. November 2005. It is midday. I arose this morning 2 hours before daybreak. I stoked the fire, then my spirit with morning devotions, and finally my poor hermit's body with a breakfast of leftover soup with rice and tea. I have been remembering since then. Even though it's been 7 years since the Akashic first opened to me, chronicling these experiences strums the old chords in me. After all these years, the hole in my heart is still there. But seeing a young Ming, 5 years younger than I am today, in that smoky Taipei apartment, also reinforces my determination to carry on for her. Yes, it's hard, but I must hold fast that there is some reason for it all, and that one day, all will be righted when I am reunited with her, either in this life or beyond. Seeing Ming in that record was like looking in a mirror and seeing an angel of light I'd known forever. Beyond stirring the longing in me, it is also an awesome comfort, as if the saints are telling me that she and Sean are still alive, somewhere. And for once, for that time-stopped instant, where didn't matter. Before then, I'd never even seen a photograph of Ming that young. I only have a few photos of her, mostly next to my father at their simple wedding. She was exquisitely beautiful in those precious photos, but she was even more striking in that record, obvious to all except perhaps herself. Lua, Ming's sister, my aunt, I realize, knew it too, but hadn't held it against her. Instead, she'd been bemused at how her date had been drawn like a moth to her little sister's flame. Some might judge my father for his paid liaison with Lua, but I do not, though I'll admit it was quite the roundabout way to meet the girl he would one day marry. On the rarest and most fleeting of occasions, a vision of something or someone or somewhere so precious that I have long ago forgotten comes up in me, and a tsunami of yearning rises up in me. That was Ming, as I gazed upon her in that record, star brilliant, reflecting the great inner light she must have carried. And that was Sean upon meeting her for the first time. For me, seeing them both for the first time when I was 17, I cannot exaggerate what it meant to me. I have seen my parents in action, which is light years beyond my previous dim awareness of them. It roots me in who I am and who I'm striving to become. I've been with my father while trying to grasp the nature of darkness, as I also must do. I've seen my mother in records I have yet to chronicle, trailblazing a spiritual path I'm trying to follow. In these memories, I've lived parts of what assailed them up until the ultimate assault, their snatching. It seems I'm being prepared to continue down the same trail they cut. These Akashic memories map how far they got and the dragons they encountered along the way. Critical information if I'm to follow in their footsteps. I shake myself from remembering. I realize I need to change things up. It's time to go outside and breathe in the mountain air. Earlier this morning, I stuck my head out the cabin's front door and found milder temperatures. Today the cold is not of the bone-chilling variety. I get to my feet stiffly, then bundle up in my head-to-toe Carhartts. pull on my boots, and venture out. The wind hits my face like a slap, but I feel invigorated. I have been cabin bound and sedentary for too long. The first chore is to clear a path through snow drifts to the wood pile around back, as my once large reserve of wood inside the cabin is down to a few logs and kindling. After a good hour of shoveling, I reach the wood pile. Fortunately, it sits under an extended eave overhanging the cabin's rear wall, presumably built for just this purpose. The wood is relatively dry. With a beat-up broom, I sweep off the remaining snow. I haul in 3 days' worth of firewood and a bucket of kindling, working up a sweat. It feels wonderful. As I go about my wood gathering, I again am reminded of how magical this lodge is and what an amazing find it was. Tucked into the heart of the vast Absaroka Range that straddles the Montana-Wyoming border, it's a refuge as remote and unique as we in East West have ever known. We've hosted retreats in beautiful locations, but none like this. A wilderness guide friend of Luke knew of the abandoned cabin and its history as a getaway built by a Butte copper baron. Luke did some digging through records at the county courthouses in Big Timber and Butte, and concluded that the owner must have kept his sanctuary a secret. For when he passed, knowledge of its existence passed with him. 2 years ago, Luke and I tracked down the cabin's legal heirs, some 40 years after the place had hosted its last guest. The family lived in Seattle and was grateful for our research. They gladly accepted our modest offer for the property, which was an unexpected windfall for them. We are very blessed to own such a refuge, our own personal place of safety and healing. We've christened it the Hollow Tree. Left to nature, the mortared log structure has weathered well. The cabin roof is made up of slate-covering cedar boards that are in turn laid over massive hand-hewn pine rafters. Along with its chinked log walls, the building's saving grace over the years has been its slate shingles. Who knows how the Butte Baron trucked slate up this mountain river canyon back then, but we're thankful he did. Running alongside a creek that feeds the river below, the last half mile up here is nothing but a boulder-filled path barely wide enough for a 2-horse team pulling a supply wagon. Not even a 4-wheel drive vehicle can make it up the last mile from the road. The cabin includes an ingenious cistern, fed by a nearby stream, and is supplemented by direct drainage off the roof, which provides a potable water supply. To wash, we heat water atop the stove, which also doubles as our cooktop for hot meals. Out back, the path to the outhouse is sheltered by a pole-built lean-to that serves as a buffer against the winds that come howling down the mountainside. Back inside the cabin, I settle into the worn-out armchair across from the stove and take a minute to collect myself before resuming my work. I reflect upon the latest records I've just transcribed onto my MP3. Recording my father meeting my mother for the first time, albeit as a customer of her sister who, at the time, was forced to work as a bar girl to support the Lynn family. I'm so grateful for that knowledge and for the time up here to chronicle it. I'm also realizing that there are layers to my chronicling. I'm recording my own memories, my missing parents' stories, and more. These events meander through interconnected yet distinct realms, including the saints' retreats in the etheric and, of course, our physical earth. Moreover, with my ability to delve into the Akashic, I'm chronicling memories within memories and experiencing these through the actor's eyes as if I were them, as I've said. It's quite a lot to keep straight. Doing justice to the task is no easy thing, despite the talents I've been granted. One of the most invaluable gifts I have, which I've only put a name to in recent years, is my enhanced eidetic memory that allows me to access the images and conversations of events in precise detail, even years after I've experienced them. But in truth, I'd much rather do without this so-called talent. For as one might imagine, the ability to instantly access the past is not always a good thing. As I tend the fire, put on tea, and prepare to continue my remembering, my wandering thoughts land on my brother and on my dear Luke. I wish I could tell them about the new record. They would know what to do, how to proceed. I also wish I knew where Luke was, but he doesn't always tell me due to the sensitive nature of his work, largely with foreign governments battling human trafficking. A thought suddenly occurs to me. Who said I had to wait for them to contact me? I'm excited by the idea. I rise from the crackling fire and fish out our US Geological Survey map of the area. I pore over it. The ridges and draws, the elevation drop from here to the road, and the road itself, winding north alongside the Boulder River. Using a handmade paper ruler, I calculate the distance, 7 miles overall, from the hollow tree to my destination, a US post office in McLeod, Montana. We rent a postal box there. The post office is a stone's throw from a log-framed general store and cafe. I wonder if the place has an internet connection I could use to reach out to Luke, then Caelan, to ask him to pursue the new lead, the one I saw last night, the first record of my father in half a dozen years. The timing of it has been bothering me ever since. Why am I being shown this now? As I mull over the question, the answer hits me, followed by a shiver of dread. The saints don't do anything randomly, I'm sure. I've been shown the record now because immediate action is required now. I can't wait weeks or even days. For some unknown reason, time is critical. I have to find a way to contact Luke. Now. Somehow, I have to get to McLeod on foot, then pray that I can get through to Luke either by phone or email. I know Luke said I needed to keep a low profile until the threats against East-West cease. But this is important. This is Saint's work. I examine the USGS map. Using a makeshift paper scale, I measure from McLeod up Boulder River Road, 3.1 miles. Then another 2.4 miles up East Boulder to the foot of the track up here. Then a steep mile up or down from the road to the hollow tree. Added up, a serious 15-mile round-trip hike in the dead of winter. Doable? Yes, with fair weather. But risky. I'm guessing the journey is probably on the edge of my endurance. I consider all the factors. I've not yet acclimated to the thinner air at this higher elevation. That's not good. Plus, except for shoveling snow and hauling wood, I've been sedentary for the past week or more. I'm a runner, true, so I should still be in decent shape, despite not having run since Chicago. And what if the weather turns ugly along the way? That would be devastating. Within an hour of studying the USGS map, I've gathered my snow gear and packed my backpack with trail food, 2 water bottles, extra socks, and the hefty Swiss Army knife Luke had given me. Tomorrow, barring any new snow and if the current moderate temperatures hold, I'll set out at daybreak. I attempt to settle back into my chronicling, but in my excitement I have a tough time concentrating. My mind wanders to Caelan, then to Luke. and to the emails I need to compose.